Please welcome Elliot Cohen, class of 1970, Awards Committee Chair for the GW MHA Alumni Association.
Good afternoon. As Chair of the George Washington University MHA Alumni Association Awards Committee, welcome. I would like to thank and acknowledge each member of our committee. They are Lauren Allen, Andres Moreira, Ricky Allen, Jack Buckley, and Jennifer Wilkinson. This afternoon, we join together to present the Frederick H. Gibbs Award for Excellence in Graduate Education. Professor Gibbs was the founder of the first chair of the GW Department of Healthcare Administration in 1958. He served as the chair until 1967 and remained a member of the faculty until 1972. His role as founder and chair of the program followed a distinguished military career. He retired in 1957 as a full colonel in the Medical Service Corps of the Army. During World War II, he served as chief of the Surgeon General's Management Improvement Branch and as the second director of the Army Baylor Program and Hospital Administration. He distinguished himself as a soldier, teacher, researcher, administrator, and consultant. In addition, he was also author of a wide variety of professional papers and articles. In addition to the presentation of the Gibbs Oration today, we honor his legacy by presenting the Frederick H. Gibbs Award for Excellence in Graduate Education to a healthcare leader who has served with excellence as a preceptor to GW MHA students. I am going to call on Andres Moreira, a former resident of our awardee recipient, to make the presentation. Andres, please.
Thank you, Elliot, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andres Moreira, a proud 2015 graduate. I'm honored to be here today to present Mike Eppehimer with the Frederick H. Gibbs Award for Excellence in Graduate Education. Mike has over 20 years of experience in healthcare strategy, operations, practice management, and consulting. Most recently, Mike served as president of the ChristianaCare Medical Group in Wilmington, Delaware, and spent the last decade there serving in various roles, including senior vice president of service line operations and vice president of the Department of Medicine. Prior to joining ChristianaCare, Mike served in leadership roles at the George Washington University Hospital and the Advisory Board Company. Mike is a proud graduate of our MHA program and also earned his BA in Theater and Communication from the University of Maryland, College Park. He is a fellow in the American College of Healthcare Executives, a certified Lean Six Sigma Black Belt from the American Society of Quality, and has more than 15 years of experience studying, teaching, and performing improvisational theater. On a more personal note, I met Mike in 2014. I distinctly remember taking an Amtrak from Washington to Delaware for my fellowship interviews in the middle of a snowstorm. The next morning, I quickly realized that I underestimated how far this hospital was from my hotel as I walked through the melted snow and slush. My polished shoes that Dr. Dara would have been proud of were wet, and I was not the picture-perfect representation of an interviewee. Needless to say, Mike looked past that. We can and have laughed about all of this now, but he gave me the opportunity to be his first administrative fellow at ChristianaCare, and I could not have been more grateful. Mike was instrumental in starting the fellowship at ChristianaCare, which has blossomed to be one of the best. He has mentored and supported many students and provided them with an unparalleled experience at one of the country's top healthcare systems. Mike's professional success, his character, and his passion for mentoring tomorrow's healthcare executives is truly inspiring. It's my understanding that a few weeks ago he spoke with our first years, and in speaking with a student today who I had for a mock interview, he mentioned that Mike was extremely engaging and fun. This is who Mike is, and we are so lucky to have him. Mike, today we are joined by several ChristianaCare fellows and leaders, both current and former, who tuned in to celebrate you receiving this award. We are all so thankful for your leadership and to have to learn so much from you. We could not be more proud that you are the recipient this year. It is truly a testament to your dedication to developing the next generation of healthcare leaders, and we thank you oh so much.
Thank you so much, Andreas. Thank you, Elliot, and thank you for the whole committee. I really appreciate so much this recognition and certainly honor Professor Gibbs in this recognition as well. And it's just a great honor to be associated with him in this way. This is meaningful to me on so many different levels, but in particular, when I think about leadership and I think about the work that we do as leaders, and in particular, our leadership legacy, I believe it is really ultimately founded in those that we develop, those that we coach, those that we mentor along the way. And so this recognition is particularly important to me and meaningful to me for that reason. You think about all the things we do as leaders. We build programs, we build buildings, we achieve different types of recognitions for our organizations. And all those things are meaningful and to be celebrated and often feel very concrete and real. But I believe deeply that over time, as we reach the end of our careers, even as we reach the end of our lives, and we look back, some of those concrete examples of our accomplishment will start to fade over time. But what won't fade, and in fact will be amplified and magnified and grow over the years, are the investments we make in others. And as we see those other leaders make an impact in their communities and their organizations and the people that they serve. And that truly is the legacy that we leave behind as leaders. I had a great example of this I'd love to share with you all briefly that made a big impact on me a number of years ago. I was sitting around a conference room and waiting for a meeting to start. And there were about 8 or 9 people in the room, and half worked for the hospital, half worked for a private physician practice. And everyone in the room was a physician other than me. And we had a dispute that we were working our way through, and we knew it was going to be a tense and difficult meeting. And so we were making small talk, but there was this air of tension kind of hanging over the room. And one of the physicians from the private practice said that it reminded him of what it was like when he was a resident and he was called into Dr. Collier's office. Now, Dr. Collier was my boss at the time. She was sitting right next to me. She had called this meeting, and she, at this point, was the chair of the Department of Medicine at Christiana. And for a number of years prior, she had been the residency program director for the internal medicine residency program. And so we all chuckled when the physician made this joke. And then one of the other physicians in the room, who actually worked for the hospital, told a similar story of a time he had really not met Dr. Collier's expectations, and she let him know unequivocally that he needed to up his game. And so we all laughed about that as well. And then another physician told a similar story about her experience as a resident. And then one by one, every single person in that room told a story of the impact Dr. Collier had had on their lives as residents. And it was just amazing how quickly the room transformed from 2 different groups who were kind of aligned against each other in this dispute to one group of people all united in our affection, in our connection, our admiration, and in our love for an incredible leader who made a difference in our lives. Now, that moment really stuck with me, and it came at a great time because I had been thinking about relaunching the fellowship program at Christiana Care, but I had all the traditional weak excuses for not doing it. Too busy, not enough time. How was I going to squeeze it in to my busy schedule, to my busy life? But I realized I had been thinking about it all wrong. That launching the fellowship program and investing in that was not something you do on the side or something you squeeze into your schedule, but it actually is fundamentally one of the most important things that you can do as a leader. And it needs to be central to your schedule, and everything else needs to be worked around that. So it wasn't all that long after that Andreas was marching through the snow, as he just all shared with you. And he showed up and was recognized as the first fellow in this new program. And we laugh about that story and so many other stories that we've created together. And then there have been a lot of stories since then with E, with Richa, with Ashley, with Wes, with Nikki, with Jasmine, with Jody, with Catherine, each one of the fellows that I've had the privilege of working with. It's been incredible to go with you on your unique journey and walk side by side with you as you've worked through problems, challenges, as you've grown your strengths, as you've taken on some of your weaknesses to make them stronger. And I have loved being part of your professional journey, and I've also loved being part of your personal journeys as well, whether it's engagements or marriages or major moves and life changes. We even have a fellowship baby that will be born any minute now that was nice enough to wait to be born until after this awards presentation. So I appreciate that, Ashley, as well. One of the fellows said to me the other day that they hope that they can repay me at some point in the future for what I've given to them. And I appreciate the sincerity of that remark, but I'm really clear on the fact that this is not a truly 100% altruistic endeavor, that I know how much I have received from all the fellows and students that I've worked with. And I know I'm a better leader, a better person because of the learning I've gained from all of you. And one of the main things that I've learned from you is that I should have great optimism and hope for the future of our profession. Healthcare is going through a lot of challenges right now, a lot of stress. But when I see the incredible talent, intelligence, collaboration, ingenuity of this rising generation of leaders, I have great optimism about the future. And I know that you will solve some of the challenges that previous generations have failed to do. And I'm so excited to follow you in future years as you move forward. I also just want to acknowledge that it's great to receive this personal recognition today, but the Fellowship at Christiana Care has been truly a team effort, and we designed it as an organizational-wide endeavor. And so my colleague Sharon Kerfurst and many other senior leaders that I work closely with who open their doors to the fellows to really have full access to every single senior leader in the system. My colleagues Shar and Janana and so many others in our HR team who have made the fellowship stronger every single year and put some structure around it. And in particular, my colleague Dawn Geis, who was with me from the very beginning, working side by side with me. And I know Andreas and all the other fellows know how critical Dawn has been to being a friend, a colleague, and a mentor to the fellows along the way also. So I'll end with this. Leaving a leadership legacy is something we should all aspire to do. And whether you're just getting started in your career or whether you're towards the tail end of your career, it's never too early to start, and it's never too early to continue investing in others, coaching them, mentoring, developing, and opening yourself up to be vulnerable and learn from other leaders as well. And so my challenge to all of you today is to continue to invest in your own leadership legacy. And you will see as the years go by, the impact and the waves and waves of impact and difference that the leaders that you touch will make over the years. And so I'm incredibly grateful, Andreas, Elliot, the awards committee, everyone involved in making this incredible event happen today. This is a wonderful recognition in honor of Professor Gibbs, and I'm so grateful to receive it. So thank you very much for your time. And Elliot, I'll hand it back over to you.
All right. Mike, thank you for your thoughtful remarks and for all you have done as a preceptor and mentor for so many GW students and fellow alumni. Thank you to Andres and all members of the MHA Awards Committee, and thank you too to everyone in Zoom for joining us for this presentation. We will now take a short break and reconvene at 2 p.m. for the 14th annual COIL lecture featuring Dr. Lauren Powell. Please feel free to stay in the Zoom room to network and connect with fellow attendees and to enjoy the slideshow featuring profiles of some of our current first and second year students. Thank you and enjoy the afternoon.